These are more like recorded ones then, but okay. But we're here. We'll just, oh, look at this. There's people on already. Hey, who's on? Comment if you're on with us. I see some people already. Okay, so sometimes they can comment, sometimes they can't. Depends on how they logged on. So, but we're all good. So, Jamie, I'm so excited. All right, this is so fun for me to introduce you to everybody because Jamie was actually a super, super key piece to the Shul unit making a transition from. I think we were doing unit clubs when you started working with me, right? Like I was doing 300, but you were there the first time we did 500,000, I believe. Yes.
You were definitely doing whether it was that first year or not. Yeah, you
Yeah,
definitely did.
and she was such a huge part of bringing the organization into my unit and into my life. She was worked as an assistant for me, and like God just brought her to me. He brought her and I together for a purpose, for sure. And worked in my office and saw my crazy world for a long time. And then she had to move away. She was coming to our unit meeting. She was an adoptee, very vibrant part of our unit, and moved away. And we saw each other once a year at seminar, and then they changed the seminars. So we haven't seen each other there for a while. But it's so exciting to be back in touch with you and have you back with your excellence training our unit, because I cannot wait for them to hear what you're doing. So I'm going to just tell them a little bit about you. And then I'm going to ask you some questions because I know people are dying to figure out how to pivot their business just like you are. So Jamie started her business 12 years ago. And she worked at part-time while she supported her husband in his military career. She has moved her business to 5 different states and has customers across the country. After her husband and their 2 kids transitioned. After, okay, her husband and their 2 children transitioned from military life to civilian life. She decided to pursue her business full time. Jamie is a team leader. She's achieved star consultant over 20 quarters. She's a consistent bead jewelry achiever. She loves the heart of Mary Kay and her passion to help other women feel confident through the products and the opportunity so they can create their best life. I love that mission. And, I think one of the things that we have been so vocal about in the Shul unit and the Fearless unit is really knowing what our mission and our passion is. And it certainly is exactly what you're doing. We're all about empowering women, teaching women to live their best lives, but also in this really crazy world where everybody feels like we're so connected because of social media, there's still this really unbelievable rise in people feeling lonely and depression increasing and anxiety increasing. So I feel we have such a great gift to people to be able to bring this sense of community and support where we just share each other in each other's celebrations and help each other when we're falling down. And you certainly have been such a huge piece of that to me in my life. And I'm so excited to watch your business just grow and blossom. And your other greatest fan, my other very best friend, Ruthie Scott, we feel the same way about you, that forever we've known you're going to be a Cadillac director. I will always hold true to that. And Ruthie and I, for years, I can remember talking about like, oh my God, wait till Jamie figures this out and really starts running with it. It's going to be unbelievable. And it's so fun talking with you now because it was just like last month, I think, before this whole coronavirus thing hit, that you and I really started communicating again. And let's go back to then, because I'd love for you to talk about your mental state prior to that, what changed and what got you back doing 30 faces. So let's talk about that first before we get into this whole coronavirus issue.
Yeah. So, well, thank you so much for having me on here. This is so fun to learn a new platform to kind of do our business on. And I'm so grateful for you. You know that I've always looked up to you. And I miss all of you girls in Buffalo. So before this, I worked my business like very, very, very part-time. And I think I'm one of those people from the very beginning, like I saw the opportunity, but I really, 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 really struggled with belief in myself. And that's really, I think, the primary thing that has held me back. And, I don't think that some people would think that I struggled with believing that I could do it, but it just, like I saw other people, I didn't necessarily see how it was all going to come together for myself. And so prior to this, so pretty much maybe like, let's back up like 6 months ago. I mean, I had just really, really been wanting directorship. I've always wanted it, but then this was like a burning in my soul. I want this so bad. I want it, I want it, I want it. And so I kind of had this epiphany moment. I don't know if something descended upon me, but it was this moment where I was really doing a lot of internal reflection and really just contemplated the difference between wanting and being willing. And so for a long, long, long time, I have wanted directorship, and if wanting it and wishing for it could have brought it about, I would have already been
Oh, that's
many years
so
ago.
good. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that feel the same way, right? If wanting and wishing, we would have our national area done years ago. We would have had it done.
Yeah, yeah,
So many people want it and wish for change. Yeah,
yeah.
so
And so just, coming to that point where I said, okay, am I wanting it or am I willing? Am I willing to do it? Because so many speakers, I've listened to, I mean, over 12 years, how many speakers can you listen to saying it's just a decision? I'm like, what kind of decision? I don't know what that means. So, just being willing and basically the thing that did it was, the thing that kind of caused the shift was thinking about, okay, I know I've really got to get clear on my schedule. So I put out my weekly plan sheet, and I mean, it sounds simple to say I started taking everyone's advice and doing what they were telling me to do, but I actually started doing it. So I started looking at, my weekly plan sheet, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to hold parties, I have to know first of all where I can hold them, right? And then I decided, I think really the decision, and the decision that I hear a lot of people talk about, it's just a decision, it's just a decision, it's just a decision. And I was like, what does that mean? But I think if I could go back and pinpoint a moment, the decision came in the form of, okay, I don't know how this is going to look. I don't know the how of all it's going to, how it's going to come together.
mhm.
I don't know how I'm going to get 10 team members, to get into the IQ. I don't know how. And I was like, okay, I don't even know that I could do 30 faces. But what I do know is I know I can do anything for 5 minutes. I was
Ah,
like,
yes,
that much.
that's so true.
I was like, that much I know. I know that through all of my life experiences, okay, I'm a coaster, experiences through all the moves and becoming a mom. Oh my goodness. That's enough right there. But I was like, okay, I absolutely 100% know and believe with all my heart I can do absolutely anything for 5 minutes. And so that's really what it came down to. So I was like, okay, I have leads from the facial lead boxes. I know I can do anything for 5 minutes. I can send out 10 text messages in less than 5 minutes.
Yes, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And I was like, if I could do it for one day, I was like, I can do anything for one day. So then that's what it became. It was like, I stopped thinking into the future, stopped worrying about what it was going to look like in a week from now, in a month from now. It was just like, okay, 5 minutes. I know I can do this. 5 minutes. Just send
Good.
those things as quick as possible.
That's brilliant. And one of the things that I was so excited for you, and not only for you, but for you to be able to share the message, was that when we had spoken and you had appointments on your books and you were holding parties, I think you had said to me, And I don't know if you're going to remember this number. You told me the number of people that you were facialing that you never knew prior to that month. They all had come from facial boxes and referrals. Do you remember the numbers, the breakdown of that?
Yeah. So, so I had put out lead boxes for, 6 months to an entire year before. And I had collected, these names and was sitting on them.
Right. Why did a lot of us have those?
So, I made the commitment that day, and it's crazy because, I'm sure I sound like an absolute lunatic saying January 25th was the day that it kind of all changed.
Okay.
January 25th, I sat there and I was like, you know what? I absolutely know that I can do anything for 5 minutes. I'm going to send this out because I'm so tired of the possibility of it, but not actually having my dream come true.
That's good. Yeah.
And so, I did get to that point that I've heard a lot of people talk about, that the pain of staying where you were, where I was, it became more painful to stay stagnant than it was to change and to do something different. So even though it didn't feel good, I wasn't looking forward to it at all. Not looking forward to it. But I did it. I was like, let me just do this. I'm going to send it out because then I can get a win for the day. So, anyways, I committed to contacting 10 leads every day for at least 2 weeks. So I went through probably over 200 leads from lead boxes. These were people that I didn't know.
Okay.
I ended up having, I think, 11 parties on my books, 12 parties for the month of February.
So cool. Okay, so I want everybody to hear that. 212 parties. So who is willing to get 188 no's or no answers, or people ghosting you, or because I'm sure there was a lot of it. Like people didn't come straight out and say no. They probably just ignored the text, right?
Yeah, I wish that I could go get my board because I wrote it on a board. I wrote down my results on a board. And so you can see, I wrote it exactly how they came.
Oh, that's so cool.
You could see.
Well, you know what? Will you do me a favor when we're done? Take a picture of that and send it to me. Because I think people need to know that. Like, so everything started from 10 to 12 parties. They actually started from 200 leads. And so people get so afraid of the no. And, somebody not replying is essentially a no. At this moment, it's a no. Maybe you're going to send them a text a month or 2 months, 3 months on, and they'll say yes. But that's 188. I hope you guys are all hearing that. Right? 188 no's. And some of them may have been a no because the facial box leads were so old. They're probably like, I don't even remember putting my name in here.
You know what, though? The craziest thing was that I got myself to a mental place where I was like, you know what? Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. I'm not going to worry about it. It's just doing the activity. And so I have to say, when you sit here and you say 188 no's, there weren't even that many people who told me no. It was a lot. It was a lot of no answers, or a lot of places where I sent them the details, but maybe it dropped off during half of the conversation. And so I could actually go back later and follow up with those people. But on the board, it is the coolest visual because I at one of the trainings that I was doing, I covered them all up with sticky notes. Okay. And so I was pulling them off one by one. And so we got through, the first 2 days, 20 leads. And it was like, okay, I got maybe one booking, and I was like, okay, how many people at this point would have stopped? Because you weren't getting the results that you thought you should have been getting. And so then we kept going. Okay. Many people would have, there were quite a few people that would hang in there. And so we pulled off some more. And then after 50 leads, 60 leads, 70 leads. And I said, raise your hand if you would stop because you're not getting it. The craziest thing is that most people in the room raised their hands that they would have quit. And the very next day, when I pulled off the next day's, sticky notes, was yes, 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 yes. They all came closer.
Yeah, that's just the numbers, right? It's just, and so I think the lesson that can be learned from that is that when you can stay committed to what you say you're going to do. And it's just the effort. You stay committed to your effort and the results will take care of themselves eventually. But people quit because they put so much emotion into the effort, and effort can have no emotion. Like, it's just like, I'm going to make 10 calls. Some are going to, maybe I'll get a reply. Maybe I'm not. It doesn't matter. My job is to do 10 today.
Yep.
That's just my job, right?
Yep.
I love that. Okay, so here's Jaime, you guys. She's got it going on. She's finally holding parties. She's working towards her 30 faces. Things are going so well. And the coronavirus hits. And now nobody wants you in their space. Nobody wants you coming to their house. They don't want their friends together. And you still have this goal that you are going to submit your DIQ card. And you had to shift quickly. So let's talk about that. What did that feel like? And then how did you implement your plan? Because things are going really well for you now. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I think for about in the middle of March, when all this was going on, I kind of had, first of all, I was booked from that activity in January and February. I was booked 3 weeks into March. So I had to cancel a boatload of appointments at that point, which was just so sad to me, because I was like, darn, I worked so hard for those. But you know what? So I think that first, just like everybody else, I kind of got shaken a little bit by this. And in the, mid-March, I thought, okay, if we can just, kind of ride this out for 2 weeks, like this will all go away. We can all get back to normal and whatever. And I said to my husband last week, I said, okay, this is getting real now. Like, they've canceled school until the end of April. So now, like, I'm homeschooling for kindergarten. Oh my goodness. Teachers, because I'm not a teacher by nature. But anyways, so I said, I better accept that this is what it's going to look like, and stop fighting against it, and just kind of embrace that this is what it's going to be. And then I had a conversation with another consultant, and I said, you know what? This is no different. It's no different. I mean, the thing that's different is the medium that we're using. We can't get together in person, so we have to do this over Skype or FaceTime or, StreamYard or whatever, Zoom, whatever, or Facebook. But how we show up to people, listening to people's concerns, being a consultant, offering advice, focusing on service, taking care of our customers, showing people the product, mailing out samples and letting them feel the product for themselves. None of that is different. That's all the same stuff that we did. We just have to show up a little bit differently where we can't be there in person with them. And so I said to myself, I'm going to act like it's the exact same way to book. Reach out to my 10 leads, reach out to Facebook friends who I haven't talked to in forever, or maybe ever, since we became Facebook friends, and just use, this very, very simple script, and kind of have this curiosity about this new avenue of business, and you're really looking for feedback on how to do these virtual appointments. And really, I've really just challenged myself to show up for other people and to really, really focus on service. Like you said, some of these things like connectedness but disconnectedness existed before the coronavirus. And so we're at kind of this beautiful space in time where we're all home. We're all experiencing something completely different. And we can still be of service to other people. We can show up for them. We can check in with them. We can see how they're doing. Maybe it's a FaceTime call and, with someone that you haven't connected with in a long time, where you both just throw on a charcoal mask and talk about how your day is going. And, tell her, hey, can you give me some feedback about this charcoal mask? And what do you think about doing these doing this virtually? Like, what's your feedback? So It's no different. It's no different.
Yep. And you know what? I think that for a lot of people, if you can embrace this, especially those of you who are really afraid of rejection and a no, it's just kind of like, I don't know if it's an easier yes or if it's not as harsh. I don't know how to describe it, but it's been for me, like you had said, Jamie, when you go into this with curiosity and say, okay, how can I do this? And I'm just going to jump in and try it, because we don't, like, for so many of us, it's all kind of finding our way as we go. And so just being curious and just asking people, hey, if I got these to you, would you be willing to try it? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they say, sure, I'll take them. Now you have the opportunity to say, well, you know what? I have this really cool medium. This is called StreamYard that we're on. It's free for all of you. You just do StreamYard.com. It really is not that difficult to use. Great tutorial videos with it, like super simple. And it's so simple. And you can say, well, I have this really cool medium. If you want, let's set up an appointment and I'll send you a link, and you just tap on the link and I'll be right there with you and I can talk you through how to use it all. Right. So that's one way to do it. And I just learned that as I went. Like, I'm like, I'll get sample packs out. And then I thought, okay, now what am I going to do? People want them. Now what do I do? And then you figure out your next best step. This might not be the next best step for you. Maybe you're better just using your phone and doing FaceTime. Maybe you just want to talk to somebody. You can talk to them too. Like, I don't know what works best, but I'm going to put your script up on here, if that's okay now, so they can see what you asked people. And it's
so
straightforward, right?
Yeah. So, I think one of the things that I implemented back in, the end of January and February, and that I'm implementing again now, is don't, a challenge for me has always been to not overthink things and not get stuck in analysis paralysis, that I don't need to know the whole, how everything is possibly going to work out before I get started.
Right.
Training myself just to jump in and try it first. So for me, thinking about all of that stuff got me so overwhelmed in the past that I would just freeze and then do nothing. And so I seriously challenge you that even if you don't know what you're doing yet virtually, take the script, send it out to 10 people, like today. Just send it out to 10 people. And when you get back and you see the yeses come back, then you can figure out what to do. Then you call Amy and you go, okay, now I have 5 people who want to book with me. What do I do?
Yes.
Figure it out that way. And kind of, the first couple, it's just like you're doing a power start or a perfect start when you came in. Your script, when you were a new consultant, said, can I borrow your face so that I can learn what the heck I am doing?
Right. Yeah. And then you just run with it, and it's been fun for me. And I'll tell you, in my unit, Andrea's my offspring director, and Tammy Caswell were the first 2 that started shifting quickly. And they're like, I'm ready. Like, bring this on. I'm scared. I don't know what I'm doing. And so it's been fun for us, because Tammy would call me and say, okay, I'm going to do this. Now what? And so we would figure it out together. I don't have all the answers right now either. I have the answers that are working for me. Are they going to work for you? So I walked it through things with Tammy. She gave me her ideas, which have been brilliant. Like always, she's so brilliant. And then I would share her with, my ideas with her, and combined, we came up with plans that work for both of us. And so I'm so willing to do that with any of you, but you got to take the first steps and just make your next best decision. Like, what are you going to do next? Whether you're going to Facebook message people, text people. I was telling Jamie today that I told a bunch of my friends that, okay, I have pampering packets. And for me, I was just feeling stuck. And I thought, okay, so now what's my next best step? Well, my next best step always goes to, how can I bless people, right? Like, what can I do to bless people? So, all right, I'm just going to see if somebody wants these pampering packets. And it organically turned into somebody saying, hey, I got some other friends that want it too. It would be so much fun. Why don't we all do a Zoom together? Like, she booked it herself. And I was like, yes, let's do that. I'm booking those right now, right? So you don't know where it's going to lead you. And until you take your next best step, the next door is not going to be opened. You are never going to see all the doors opened at one time and see clearly how this will work for you. So we're hoping this conversation Jamie and I just had with you are going to help you to just make the decision to make your best next step, right? Like, okay, is it going to be, I'm going to send 10 messages out a day? I think that's brilliant. Everything starts with numbers. You can't get this business built without that. So, you know, if that's your next best step, that's great. 10 people a day. Okay, now what are you going to ask them? Right? And are you willing to do the work when they start saying yes? Because you got to be willing to say, okay, yeah, I will be doing this. I will force myself to learn technology. And right now, that's the name of the game. And how excited are you, Jamie, for when we get through this whole coronavirus to have this whole new avenue to work from?
It's, you know what, it's so exciting because it totally opens the possibility to work with people across the entire country. I mean,
wild.
If if we all jump on board with this, your business could explode.
Explode.
Yeah.
Monumental.
I mean, exponential growth in just a matter of months. And so it's so exciting. And then the only other thing that I think I would add to what you were just saying, or to go off of what you just said, is that, you know, back in February, when I had committed to just kind of doing the work, I think you touched on a critical point that I really got to see play out, is that I could have never seen or known the little God moments, the God blessings that came in that month, the bookings that came out of nowhere, the people who found me on my website and contacted me and is now, now a team member. So I could have never predicted that. I could have never seen that. And so I think that it really is true. We've heard this throughout our whole business, that if we step out in faith and we start doing the work, God will bless that journey. But I got to see that lived out. And I totally believe that we're at the exact same point right now, that we just have to make a commitment to doing the work and step out in faith, because you don't know what kind of a blessing you could be with somebody now. I mean, they could be super, super lonely, and you just put on your charcoal mask with them and connect with them. You don't know where it could lead.
So true. What a great way to end this. You're such a blessing to me, and I'm so happy just to watch you soar and watch your business change and grow. And you know, you have a whole unit of people right here supporting you and wanting you to get this DIQ, and we're going to be watching you. So you have a couple weeks to go.
That's good. Accountability.
It is going to come together. You know, it's just keep doing the effort, putting the effort out there, and the right people are going to cross your path. For sure they will. And how could they not want to be a part of your team? I think that team building is going to skyrocket. Not only are your customers, I mean, this is such a cool medium for people that love our mission, love what Mary Kay is all about, but were hesitant because they thought, I'm so busy. How am I going to pack my bags and go and do a skincare class 2 times a week? Like, I can barely function now. And for us to be able to say, wait, we have a whole new way for you to get started. You can still connect with people. You can still go face to face with them, meet them, build relationships with them, and give them a facial without ever having to leave your home, if you want to do it that way, which is very different than just trying to sell online, right? We're not selling online. We're building relationships and continuing doing Mary Kay the way she wanted us to. So it's such a brilliant, it's an exciting journey we're all on. And I just hope more will embrace it like you have and watch what can happen. So I thank you so much, Jamie. You're such a blessing. Take a picture of your board for me so I can post it. All right.
I will.
Bye.
See you. Thank you. Bye, girls.